Is Ranger still the tireless tracker, apex predator with a connection to nature that you remember?
Find out if the Ranger holds up in the D&D 2024 Player's Handbook. What's going on, YouTube? I'm the Mind Flayer Slayer.
And I'm Dr. DM, and today we're bringing you our continued coverage of the 2024 Player's Handbook, and we are on to the Ranger class.
Yes, indeed.
We're going to go through every level of the Ranger class, see what's new, what's changed from 2014 to 2024, and give you our tier ranking if you watch to the very end. Also, before we begin, we're going to issue you a challenge. Anytime during this video, let us know in the comments who do you think is going to play Ranger in the upcoming 2024 Player's Handbook in our new campaign. If you get it right, we're going to heart your comment when we come back in a few weeks to check on it. So let's get started.
Starting at level 1, we now have Spellcasting. Yes, thank you. All Rangers can now cast spells at level 1 instead of level 2. They also can now use their Druidic Focus, which was a previous option from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Rangers can prepare more spells now, and they can learn more than they did before. They can also switch out one prepared spell per day when they have a long rest.
And that's a huge change, because before, they were kind of stuck in the spell they had, and they can only change it when they leveled up, right?
Yeah.
Now, Rangers get a lot more versatility when it comes to spellcasting, just like Paladins. So now you have to wait. If you're a new player, you can get right into the fantasy of playing Ranger.
Absolutely.
Have access to all those utility and damage-dealing spells right away at level 1, where your learning begins.
I'm a big fan of this change. You are also at level 1 getting Favored Enemy. You always have the Hunter's Mark spell prepared, and you can cast Hunter's Mark twice per long rest without expending a spell slot. This number increases as you level up. I love this. Hunter's Mark is the bread and butter of the Ranger. Not having to initially expend spell slots is a great bonus.
It's almost like Warlock when they got Hex. It's almost a requirement, right?
Yeah.
For Warlocks, but now you get it for free. And Hunter's Mark is kind of the ubiquitous spell for the Ranger. And we'll see as you level up, Hunter's Mark is not only increase in damage, but it's also going to give you a lot of other bonuses. Now, this does tie Ranger specifically to Hunter's Mark. That means your bonus action is gone, right? So if you're kind of dual wielding to try to get like extra attacks or the new Nick weapon mastery, which you also get, you get weapon mastery with Ranger, your bonus action is going to be forever tied to Hunter's Mark, sort of like Paladins forever tied to Smite. So it's good, but also
there are some negatives,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's continue on. As I just mentioned, Weapon Mastery. You now get this as well as level 1. A lot of level 1 abilities here for Ranger.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be a good dip. We'll see. So Weapon Mastery opens up. You get your 2 weapons of choice. That's like fighter and other classes, other martial classes. And you can swap these out when you complete a long rest. And there's some very cool ones here. We're going to look at these more in a video. It's coming up soon.
Coming up soon. At level 1, you are also your final last ability that is a change is that the Natural Explorer is removed. So that is no longer a part of the Ranger class. Now, I will say for me, was mostly always a roleplay feature anyways. I don't think that it was necessary that a DM would require you to be using this ability in order to do the things that a Ranger does. It's really just what the class does.
And also, yeah, you had to really focus where your natural exploration lied. There it was in the snowy mountains and the forest, and I think it was hard, a little metagamey if you want to really take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So this has been replaced now with level 2, where you get Deft Explorer. In this, you gain expertise in 1 skill, and you learn 2 languages, right? Which shows the Ranger's sort of wandering ability, right?
Yeah,
they have
to
been
meld
around.
into different cultures. And
exactly. So in reality, Deft Explorer was taken from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. It was broken into 3 features then, right? Which was the Deft Explorer, formerly was known as Canny, Roving, and Tireless, and we'll see these as we level up in different ways.
Starting at level 2, you're also getting fighting styles, which are going to be functioning as feats now instead of a separate set of stats.
And they're all the ones you remember from the previous 2014 Handbook. Some have been nerfed, some have been buffed, and we'll have a video on that pretty soon.
Absolutely.
You can also select Druidic Warrior instead of this fighting style, which gives you more of a magic dealing bent for your Ranger if you want. You get 2 Druid cantrip, and some of them...
Things like Guidance.
Yeah. Starry Wisp, which is brand new, and the damage can be okay, especially as you level up and you know cantrips level up with you. So that can be an interesting option for you.
Yeah, but especially if you want to go farther into the idea of having a Ranger be a little bit more magic using, this is a boon.
And linked to nature in a way as well.
Absolutely.
So.
At level 3, you're getting your Ranger subclass. There are 4 different subclasses in this book, as with all of the other classes. First one is going to be Beastmaster, which is similar to the changes that we saw in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, except your primal companion's AC and damage now scale with your wisdom modifier. I love this. We have been asking for this for a long time. It's a huge benefit. We'll be getting more into it later in our specific video on the Beastmaster.
Because we'll be covering all 4 subclasses
Yes, indeed.
for Ranger and every other class in the player's handbook. So on top of Beastmaster and those changes, we also get Feywander, which is mostly unchanged. You're still the suave and cunning interdimensional diplomat you know and love.
And Gloomstalker,
Woo,
one of those
Gloomstalker!
favorites. Can you tell? No more extra attack on the first round, but there is more consistent damage throughout the day. Stalker Flurry changes the circumstances for additional attacks, but it does add the option to frighten nearby foes. Shadow Dodge also is getting an upgrade here.
This is a pretty good one, spoilers.
Absolutely.
And finally, Hunter. Hunter can now identify the strengths and weaknesses of any creature marked with Hunter's Mark, which is pretty good. A little metagamey, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And later subclass features have been streamlined, which you can now switch some of those between short and long rest. So, all right, get ready for those videos coming up probably the next couple days after this one. What else?
At level 3, we no longer have Primeval Awareness. This has been removed.
Right, but now instead we gain at level 6 Roving, which you gain a plus 10 feet of movement speed, as well as gaining a climb speed and a swim speed, right?
Equal to that.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Like imagine your ranger being able to climb up the side of a cave wall and shoot down their arrows from above.
It's
or
very
whatever.
flavorful.
Yeah.
I think for level 6, this is decent. Yeah, I would say it's pretty decent.
There's a lot of roleplay elements here, and assuming that most characters can't swim, but this one can.
Yes, it can. Land Stride has been removed at level 8 and replaced with Expertise at level 9. You are going to be gaining Expertise in 2 additional skills. I think it's a little weak for a level 9 ability. Personally, I like to see things that are more relevant in combat at higher levels, but it still is 2 expertise. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, and roleplay is always a big bonus and boon for the ranger and the rogue as well, and other classes which are not necessarily always focused on fighting like a fighter, but have a rounded kit. Here's like spellcasting, skills, things like that. So
yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's not the best thing.
At level 10, you get Tireless. You can use an action to gain temporary hit points. And this is sort of like Second Wind for fighter.
Yeah.
It's not exceptionally strong. Unlike Second Wind, this takes your full action to do, but it is temporary hit points, and you can stack those before combat or right after you wake up in the morning.
Absolutely.
Commune with nature and buff yourself for the day. So, right? And you can also reduce exhaustion by 1 level just by taking a short rest. So this is really good for Ranger is meant to be wandering, right? To go around and
really
surveil.
like this. Yeah. I think it's very flavorful.
It is.
It's a big
and so
flavor win.
if you do end up getting exhaustion for whatever reason, walking, marching, some kind of abilities from the enemies, well, you're going to be able to lower that much quicker as a ranger than other classes.
Yeah. Hide in Plain Sight has been removed at level 10. This is another change.
And we'll see why in just a little bit, because their hiding has now become sort of magical, like invisibility, and we'll see that at a little bit higher level. But level 13, you get Relentless Hunter. Damage no longer breaks your concentration on Hunter's Mark. So concentration is still there for Hunter's Mark, right?
Yes.
And you still have to put it in different targets using bonus action,
Correct.
right? But this is pretty good, because at higher levels, it's pretty easy to bring concentration. If you're getting hit by suddenly a giant hits you for 30, 40 damage, pretty
There's
easy
no
to
way
lose
you're
it.
staying concentrated.
Yeah. So now the ranger always has the extra damage going on. And that's a pretty fantastic buff, I'd say.
Yeah. At level 14, you have Nature's Veil. This is a bonus action which allows you to become invisible until the end of your next turn. This is mostly unchanged from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, and is now at level 14, the number of uses tied to your Wisdom modifier instead of your proficiency bonus.
So that can go up pretty high.
Yeah.
In addition to bonus action, turn invisible. That's almost like a rogue using hide as their
it
bonus
really
action,
is.
but this is just straight up invisibility, so your next shot will probably be at advantage.
Correct.
And we'll see if you need that, because at level 17, you get Precise Hunter, which is what?
It gives you advantage on attack rolls against the creature currently marked by Hunter's Mark.
Okay, and this is a fantastic
it's so good.
super buff to Hunter's
Oh
Mark.
my gosh.
So bonus action, and then every attack, for example, against the boss, you just get advantage. This is good. I think that takes away a little bit from the invisibility aspect of the previous ability.
Yeah.
Right? But you can use that if something's not marked by you, or you can use that for roleplay, which is fantastic
Correct.
too. So imagine this. This is a really good ability. Advantage is always a huge buff.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially at higher levels, you want to get that hit in, make sure all your hits count, and or true strikes, if you will. But this, I feel this comes a little bit high. As strong as it is,
Yeah, I would agree. It's very strong, but I think this is actually something that we could have seen at like level 14, to be honest.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I think we could have pushed everything back just a hair.
Okay, and now Ranger doesn't exactly have a way to make their damage really skyrocket. Like, for example, with a smite, they would make advantage work to its favor if you crit it or whatever. But still, I mean, this really makes you an accurate hunter.
Yeah.
A precise hunter.
Absolutely. At level 18, Feral Senses is streamlined, so you now just have blind sight out to 30 feet.
And there's some really good combinations you can do with like a Gloomstalker, right?
Oh my gosh.
You can be in a magical darkness and whatever.
And be able to see.
Yeah, or that doesn't work against you if an enemy casts it. Now, again, you don't want to base your strategies as a low-level ranger with like other people who can use darkness and stuff like that. For your level 18 ability, which you may never get.
You may never see that.
Especially if you multi-class or whatever. It's still pretty cool. I could see this maybe being better if it was way lower level.
Yeah.
To replace like, I don't know, a feat or equivalent. But anyway, it's there. It's pretty cool and makes sense for rangers who are always out in the wilderness and can see sort of magically through nature.
Yes. You're getting your epic boon, as all classes do, at level 19, which is an epic boon feat or just any other random feat of your choice that you choose. And at level 20,
Foe Slayer, Hunter's Mark now deals additional 1d10 instead of 1d6. So this is a capstone to do up to 4 more damage. Oh boy.
Really meh.
Yeah, you might even want to like multi-class once you get, for example, your Hunter's Mark being an advantage.
Oh, I would agree, 100%.
For an extra 4 damage, now you do get a couple attacks, but Ranger only ever gets extra attack.
Yeah.
So it's not bad, but level 20, yeah. Okay, so that's the whole breakdown of Ranger. What's new from 2014 to 2024? All right, let's give it a tier ranking. What do you think? Now, Ranger's been reworked almost completely, as you've seen.
Yes.
And it definitely is an upgrade from previous Rangers who had identity issues and they had to be reworked like 1,000 times about Wizards of the Coast. So how do you think it's ended up now?
I'm giving this a high B.
Okay.
I think it's just solid. I think it's just, it's nothing incredibly special. I think the subclasses add more of that. But I think that it's just a solid B+, a very versatile and fun class to attempt to try out.
Yeah, and the higher level abilities for me are very potent. Getting advantage is just, it's tremendous. But those are balanced by low level not being quite as strong and having to use your bonus action always had a Hunter's Mark. You're going to find can be an issue as well.
Yes.
Depending on how many mobs you're fighting. If you're fighting like a group of 10 or you're just fighting one boss, makes it a little better. So overall, I think I'd put it at a B as well.
Okay.
From low level to high level.
Well, this has been our coverage of the D&D 2024 Player's Handbook Ranger. We are continuing to bring you daily content every single day. We are going to be breaking this up a little bit differently now so that we're doing our classes and subclasses Monday through Friday. On Saturday, we're going to be giving you a little something extra special, a top 5 video.
Right.
And then Sunday will be our regularly scheduled content with the campaigns.
Which, watch that. We have Planescape. We have an upcoming sci-fi campaign. You never know.
Lots of fun things. I think you will really enjoy it. And there's a great back catalog if you want to jump in. We would also like to thank the Fanroll affiliate program, which we are now proud members of. You can go to fanrolldice.com and
get your dice. Get your dice.
Type in code GG10 for 10% off your order, and some of that comes back to help us here at the channel. Yep. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, please continue to smart that like.
Hunters, mark
that like button.
Yeah, do that, yep.
And subscribe, leave a comment down below. We've really enjoyed engaging with all of you on your opinions about the 2024 Player's Handbook.
It has been a lot of fun, and you're giving us a lot of ideas of what to record next. Maybe Invocations comes next, which has been asked for, so we appreciate you. We do love interacting. And all right, you Striders, get ready for more Ranger content.
We'll see you next time.